Hello everyone, welcome to our teaching series. This is part 4. Today the title is The Revealing of the Sabbath is Turning Away from Sinful Works. And the one main thing to remember is the Sabbath originated with Moses. As you can see, we have some notes here. We're going to be going through the notes. We weren't able to write all of them out, so we did write a little bit of it out. And we have the definition here of sanctify, because we will be getting into that. Again, you can find us on this our YouTube channels, Israel Chat Bible and King Israel Seeds. If you're enjoying this teaching series, please let other people know about it and like and subscribe. I'm going to introduce the teacher, Adam. Please come up. Adam is going to go into this. I will be reading and doing my best to get this moving along. This is basically a big subject, but we're going to be honing in on the Sabbath.
Alright, then we're up again. Hello everyone. So here in Jubilees 219, whoever wants to go ahead, as you're watching this video right now, go ahead if you want to read these notes before we get into them. We're going to go one by one and really do a deep dive into the notes. So if you want to take time to read what's on the board, Jubilees 219. For those of you who are just being introduced to the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Jubilees is a book that was written during the time of Moses. So they say that there's 4 books of Moses. If you count Jubilees, there's 5 books of Moses actually. Jubilees is a very powerful, very strong book that encompasses a little bit of recap of the events of Exodus, but does a better deep dive on what Moses was learning when he was surrounded by the dark cloud on Mount Sinai, therefore introducing again how important the children of Israel are to the Father. And we're going to go into another video after this next week where we're going to do a deep dive on the name Israel, and this is partly why we have the definition of sanctify up here. We're really going to home in on what this name Israel truly means to the Father, how this is a holy name. So, no further ado, let's go into Enoch.
All right, Enoch, in our version, it's chapter 10, and we're going to start with verse 21. The plant of righteousness and of rectitude appear.
Now hold on, folks. For those of you that are listening right now, I'm going to be doing this interrupting with Craig to explain and break down the sentences in these scriptures, so you have a better updated understanding. The righteous plant of, what was it?
The plan of righteousness and of rectitude.
Rectitude. So we have this other one in another video of ours, in the previous one, where it talks about the plant of righteousness and the coming after the 7th day, the end of it, where it's really talking about the Comforter. We also have this spoken of in John as a Comforter that's supposed to bring things back to remembrance. For those of you who have been told by the church that that's supposed to be the Holy Spirit, that apparently is supposed to bring all this information back to each and every one of us, that is not according to Scripture. According to Scripture, we have another person that's going to come onto the scene, just as we had with Moses, Abraham, Noah. We had it with the prophets, people that came onto the scene that were guiding a multitude. Okay, so the Comforter is a real, actual person that's going to come, also known as the 8th head in Revelation. So how you're supposed to understand what this is saying in Enoch is not the plant of righteousness, right? That's how it's worded, right? But is the comforter. Go ahead.
So say the comforter.
No, just continue.
And its produce become a blessing.
Now that means his works become a blessing. How would a person's works become a blessing? Well, remember it says in John, he brings all things back to remembrance. He also tells you a little bit of what's to come. Did not Moses do the same thing? Go ahead.
Righteousness and rectitude shall be forever planted with delight.
Now the light is referring to the born again children of Israel, because this particular verse that he's reading in Enoch is actually referring to closer to our time period than a point in the past. So the light is referring to the children of Israel. Even Emmanuel said, I am the light as a king. So was Moses a light, right? As a king? Go ahead.
And then shall the children of Israel give thanks and live until they have begotten 1,000 children, while the whole period of their youth and their Sabbaths shall be completed in peace.
Now, right there, how can it be completed in peace? Never, ever in the past, have any of the children of Israel completed the Sabbath in peace, meaning not in their surrounding area, but from the nations that were around about them. So again, this is a foreshadowing that a Sabbath event shall happen that will be basically in our time or near future, that we'll be able to do a Sabbath where the whole world will, all the nations meaning, will also be taking part in. Go ahead.
In those days all the earth shall be cultivated in righteousness. It shall be wholly planted with trees and filled with benediction. Every tree of delight shall be planted in it.
So that's the end of 23, right?
Yeah.
So right there, we're starting to understand a bigger picture, that we're seeing that not only is there rejuvenating in the earth where we are constantly destroying things, but we see that the plants will be coming back. We've seen this stuff in many times in the world and movies where vines overgrow on buildings. I mean, it's happened in with Alcatraz in San Francisco, where basically nature has taken back over much of the buildings, right? So we see this in some places already. So it's very easy to understand that in that time period that was spoken of in Enoch, that the trees, the plants, we're going to heal the earth by getting rid of all this plastic and everything. It's a working that the whole world will do, and that's part of the Sabbath, because it means to work away from sinful works. Now we're going to be going into Jubilees here.
Okay. Yeah, Jubilees, we have chapter 2:16. I'm sure different versions, it varies. And he finished all his work on the 6th day, and all the heavens and the earth, and the seas and the abysses and the light and the darkness, and in everything. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the 7th day from all work.
Now hold on. We're going to go further into that when we get to Exodus 5, chapter 5, verse 1 and 5. Why is that so important that my brother Craig just read, that we work for 6 days, but we rest on the 7th? Rest from what? I can't stress this enough. It doesn't mean be a couch potato. It means rest from doing sinful works. The only way to do sinful works is to work against the 10 laws Moses brought down on the tablets, the many commandments, and working against judging your own heart and the hearts of others to convict them from sinful works.
And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath day from all work. And all the, it says angels, and all the spirits of the presence, and all the spirits of sanctification, these two great classes he hath hidden us, to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. And he said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these will keep the Sabbath
Now hold
day.
on. So now we're going up here for the viewers. So right now he's in 2:19, and this is a better explanation of this verse that he's reading. And the father of Israel, we know he should say that he's the father of Israel because he's the king of Israel. He's the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. He says. Now I say Israel because it's very important. We're going to get into the next video about Genesis 32:28 says, thy name is no more Jacob, but Israel. This is a direct commandment from God, which is the Father, saying, no more shall anyone know you as Jacob, which was your birth name. Now everyone has to know you by this new name, Israel. Now we're going to understand how is it declared as a holy name, and we're going to get into that next video, but we're going to touch on to this right now. That the father of Israel said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a children of Israel from among the children of Adam. Now we could say nations, but again, you have to understand the time period that nations like they are nowadays was not formed yet. But what were we all known before we were known as children of Israel? We were known as children of Adam. So what the Father did was saying that through Seth, I've been watching things happening on the earth, and I have chosen from among Ham and Japheth and Seth's descendants, from which are children of Adam, because Noah comes from Adam, that I will choose, starting with Abraham. Now his name was Abram, so now is known as Abraham, meaning father of faith, which is to trust in the Father's words and what he says, even though other people may think you're crazy. So, he chose from among the children of Adam. Abraham then went to Isaac, right? And then it went to Abraham's grandson, whom he changed to the very name Israel. So this is where that history becomes very vital. Then Moses eventually comes onto the scene and goes on to the Pharaoh and say, Israel is my firstborn son, which means going to the future, where he says that Emmanuel, which everyone says is Jesus, this is my begotten son, with whom I'm well pleased. How, if Israel is the firstborn, how has Emmanuel become the firstborn? That makes no sense. Scripture, you have to build on Scripture. You can't just take what you want and change it. So Israel is known as the firstborn. We're going to get into that a little bit here soon. So if Israel is known as the firstborn, and Emmanuel is saying, I come as a son of Israel, which they changed to son of man, this is all blasphemy. Therefore, stating he's under this house name. So that's why under a holy name. So the father of Israel said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a children of Israel from among all the children of Adam, and these shall keep the Sabbath day. And I will sanctify, we're going to get into this real quick, sanctify them unto myself as my children, and I will bless them as I have sanctified the Sabbath day. So as he sanctified the Sabbath day, so shall he sanctify who, people? The children of Israel unto himself. Sanctify the Sabbath day, and do sanctify them, referring to the children of Israel. Mainly, we all know this is a building block to whom Emmanuel says, you must be born again. So he's not, again, talking to a bloodline of people. He's talking to a people who are grafted in through knowledge, through the baptism of learning what the truth is. Okay? So, where was I? I do sanctify them, the children of Israel, which, again, this is, as I just said, speaking really more of the born again children of Israel, which is going to be in our generation. Them unto myself, even so I will bless them, and they shall be my children, and I will be their father. Did Emmanuel say, I do the words of God? No. He says, I do the words of my Father, right? I come in my Father's name, which we'll get in the next video, Israel, which is a surname that Isaiah talks about. So he says, I come in my Father's name. So he would be known as Emmanuel of Israel. Because that we will find out is a house name. Now, why is this tied to the Sabbath? Because again, to do the Sabbath and understand the Sabbath, you also have to recognize you're a child of Israel. Not Israelites. That's not a name. Israel is the name. Now, this definition of sanctify, which we have underlined 3 times here, is set apart as, this is the definition, set apart as, so set apart as, what do you say? I will, where is it? I will separate unto myself the children of Israel from among the children of Adam, to set apart as, or to declare holy. You can't beat that. You can't trump anything above the name Israel now. There is no Yahweh. It says Israel is the holy name. It's very clear here. Consecrate, make legitimate or binding. What's another word for binding? Isn't that covenant? Correct me if I'm wrong. A binding.
Yeah.
So
I got bonding there, but yeah, binding.
Binding. He's bonding with them. He's teaching them. He's working with them. It's also binding because he is bringing the laws to them. By religious sanction. By religious. Whose religious sanction? Obviously, the fathers. Through the words of the prophets. So this is why it's very important for everyone. You must read the Old Testament carefully before jumping into New Testament. Sacrament of marriage. This is part of the definition. So there is a part in the definition where it says sanctify that it uses an example using the word sacrament of marriage. You copy this word, you paste it, and then you see what the sacrament of marriage mean and how does that relate to the sanctify word, which appears 3 times here. It is a covenant, does mention it is a covenant, being a sealment, because it's a sealing between the father. So sacrament of marriage, like in a Catholic, a holy, what was it called? Begins with an M. A holy matrimony, yes. Now, what did he say? He says the New Testament something really keen, bring everyone onto the marriage, right? So we have a sacrament of marriage. Mm-hmm. Is a covenant, binding sealment between you and the Father through his words. Why is it through his words? Does he come in the volume of a book? Absolutely not. He came in the volume of prophets, not speaking from a piece of paper. He came speaking from the holy inspired people. Okay, this is where the church says, oh, the book is holy inspired and it can't be wrong. No, it was holy inspired through the physical mouth because it's living word through living flesh. Sorry, folks, that's just how it is. And then the commandments and a name. The name is very important. Everyone to this day is trying to tell me it is Yahweh. It is very clear that when we, especially when we get to our next video, that which name appears more, Israel or Yahweh? Now, people will say, oh, well, capital G-O-D or capital L-O-R-D means abbreviation of Yahweh. This is not the case. Because if you read scripture, he says he is the Father or God, deity, of a people called by what name? Are they called Christians? Are they called Catholic? Are they called Jews? No, they are called Israel. So, he is saying, I am a father of these people because they follow in my blood. How does Father have a blood? He creates blood. So, therefore, if he creates blood, then it's not by particular blood, it is by the knowledge that is taken. What did Emmanuel say? Let them who hear, let them hear. Let them who see, let them see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you want me to go to Jubilees 50?
no, we're still in 19.
Oh,
Because you started in 19, correct?
Yeah, I started.
So we still have to continue.
Alright, 19:20, and I have chosen the seed of Israel from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son.
Wait, as the firstborn what?
Son.
Oh, wow. Did you hear that, folks? As the firstborn son. This is repeated in the book of Exodus. Go ahead.
And have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever.
What name? By the name of?
Israel.
There you go. So the seed of Israel would be the children of Israel.
And I will teach them the Sabbath day, that they may keep Sabbath thereon from all work.
From what kind of work?
Sinful works.
Oh, so you're not being a couch potato. Like just not working. You're not just sitting down in front of the TV, right? No. So to take them away from all sinful works.
And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep Sabbath with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him, who hath created all things, as he hath blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep Sabbath together with us. And he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet Savior, acceptable before him all the days. There were two.
What verse are we on?
All right, maybe I should have stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. And so now we're going to now we're going to start to get into what everyone's more familiar about with the Sabbath. So now we just went through a brief introduction of the Sabbath itself, how it pertains to a children of Israel, and what the whole deal was with the prophets, and what everything that was surrounding an Old Testament between the children of Israel, between the Sabbath and the commandments. So now we're going to understand what is a Sabbath. Let's go to Jubilees 56 through 13.
Jubilees 50 verse 6, chapter 50 verse 6. And behold, the commandment regarding the Sabbath, I have written them down for thee, and all the judgments of its laws. 6 days shalt thou labor, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord, of your Lord your God.
So hold on. 6 days shall you labor. Now, the key word there you just said is labor. Now, another word for labor is works, yes. But what it's also saying is 6 days shall you what? Kill animals, right? And do all this other stuff. Do all this violent work.
Farming, planting,
Yeah.
harvesting.
Correct. Remember, what was the curse given to Adam? Was it good to plant on the ground?
Ground was cursed.
Cursed. But was he supposed to work the ground? Was Adam supposed to work?
Yeah, it just was harder.
No, he was not supposed to work the ground.
Sorry.
Because before he ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, he had no clue what a farmer was. He had no need to plant or to till the ground. So it became a curse for Adam to have to work the ground and for the ground to be torn up. Go ahead. You were verse 6 maybe?
6 days shalt thou labor, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it shall you do no manner of work, ye and your sons and your men servants and your maid servants, and all your cattle, and the sojourner also who is with you. And the man that does any work on it shall die. Whoever desecrates that day, whoever lies with his wife, or whoever says he will do something on it, that he will be set apart on a journey thereon in regard to any buying or selling. And whoever draws water thereon, which is he had not prepared for himself on the 6th day.
Now, hold on. Not prepared. So, as my brother's been reading, these things are things that you were doing pleasurably. Laying with your wife. Going out selling. You were doing this because you needed to, because you also had to mingle with Gentile nations. You had to sell stuff. Plus, you wanted things. So in order to get something, you had to trade with something, right? That's to sell in order to buy. So, what was the key one you just said before? The last couple words?
Journeys.
No, after that.
So whoever draws water
Keep going.
thereon and has not prepared it.
Not prepared. So, right there's a key point. Not prepared. So you were supposed to do all this stuff within 6 days. Get everything prepared for the 7th day, which was supposed to be a Sabbath. Now this word prepared, folks, becomes very important. It's a key word, just like sanctify and sanctify. The word prepared, I cannot stress enough, becomes vital. Okay? So you were to prepare things, okay? Go ahead.
And he had not prepared for himself on the 6th day. And whoever takes up any burden to carry it out of his tent or out of his house shall die. Ye shall do no work whatever on the Sabbath day, save that ye have prepared for yourselves on the 6th day.
Louder, please.
So as to eat, drink, and rest, and keep Sabbath from all work on that day, and to bless the Lord your God, who have given you a day of festival and a holy day, and a day of the holy kingdom for all Israel is that.
Now all the children of Israel.
All the children of Israel, for all Israel is this day among their days forever. For great is the honor which the Father Israel has given to Israel, that they should eat.
Is that verse 13?
Eat, this is 10, and drink and be satisfied on the festival day, and rest thereon from all labor which belongs to the labor of the children of men, save burning frankincense and bringing oblations and sacrifices before the Lord for days and for Sabbaths. This is verse 11. This work alone shall be done on Sabbath days in sanctuary of the Lord your God, that they may atone for Israel with sacrifice continually from day to day for a memorial, well-pleasing before the Father, and that he may receive them always from day to day according as thou hast been commanded.
Day to day. That's pretty important. Day to day.
And every man who does any work thereon, or goes a journey, or tills his farm, whether his house or any other place, and whosoever lights a fire, or rides on any beast, or travels by ship, or on the sea, and whoever strikes or kills anything, or slaughters a beast or a bird, or whoever catches an animal, or a bird or a fish, or whoever fasts or makes war on the Sabbath, the man who does any of these things on the Sabbath shall die.
Now hold on. Shall die. Go ahead briefly.
so that the children of Israel shall observe the Sabbaths according to the commandments regarding the Sabbaths of the land, as it is written in the tablets, which he gave into the hands, that I should write out of thee the laws of the seasons, and the seasons according to the divisions of their days. Herewith is completed the account of the division of days.
So it's very important, folks. Now, my brother just said about no one shall light a fire, because what was the key point that I told you to remember? You should have been prepared. That means you should have gotten everything ready. Your fire should have been lit already at the end of the, what? 6th day.
Mm-hmm.
And then why is that so important that you do all the preparation and finish it at the end of the 6th day? Why would that be? Why would you say that would be important, Craig?
Because you're not supposed to be doing anything on the Sabbath day. So you
Well,
gotta be
the
prepared.
Yes, to be prepared, but the key point is, if you do any work, isn't that distracting your mind?
Yes.
If your mind is slightly distracted from meditating, which another word for meditation is to focus, same words there, folks. So if you're to meditate on the word, meditate on the commandments, meditate on the history, then any type of distraction, how many of you would read, right? Many people read books. So tell me, if someone comes up to you while you're reading and starts holding up a conversation, distracts you from reading a book, how hard is it to find where you were without having some help by putting something in your pages, right? So if you didn't have anything in your pages and you were talking maybe about a half an hour in a conversation and you forgot where you left off at, you just got distracted. So it's the same principle that you were supposed to prepare everything so you would not be distracted in mind and heart of doing the commandments of the Sabbath day to prepare yourself for the true Sabbath that would be every day when the Lord comes. Because you have to be willing to give up and part away from all the things that is against the Father's commandments.
What are they storing up? Knowledge?
You mean as far as like with the water stuff?
Well, if they're storing up for the Sabbath day,
Yes.
we're talking about material type stuff, but the main root of what that's trying to say is knowledge, right?
Yeah, because that goes in, that's revealed. That's why we have the word revealing. It's revealed in the New Testament. What do you say? Man shall live by bread alone, but by every what?
Word.
Word that comes from the mouth of
the Father.
Correct. And if the Father is saying he is a spirit, not blood, but he is spirit, he is blood, but basically he is a spirit, right? So he works in the body, right? Because if your blood leaks out, you're dead. There's nothing the Father can do to save you if your blood's gone and stuff, or if your organs fail. If he chooses to save you, that's one thing. But generally, if people bleed out, they're dead, and that's a typical.
But all these works that are being done right now aren't separating.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
So, man shall live by bread alone. Man shall live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of the Father, right, God. And it says, isn't it written, ye are gods, meaning children of Israel, because you're a Lord. Where is that? Right here. Children of Israel, because you're a Lord, over the Sabbath. That means you're one with him under the name Israel. So, everyone should have listened and figured out what the prophets were saying. That includes Moses. That includes Abraham. That includes Noah. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I want to get to the part where it is this, being separate, set apart as, or declared holy, in the word's definition of sanctify.
That's where it says
that. You're still gonna do some of these tasks, But what it was trying to say is on this seventh day, you already have all your oil gathered, because we're gonna get into that a little later too.
Well, another thing is the tares and the wheat.
Okay.
The tares and the wheat are to grow together. So when the children of Israel were scattered into the nations, could they do any type of Sabbath? Absolutely not. So, because after the scattering of the children of Israel during the time of Rome, they were not able to uphold the Sabbath at all. So, therefore, the Sabbath became polluted, and it became a tradition now. And it even was becoming a tradition before the crucifixion point. But, what does it say in New Testament? Light has nothing to do with darkness, right?
Yeah.
So right there is a separation. When the wheat and tares are growing up and the day of the harvest comes, the reaping, which is going back to, I will separate a people. Now we're talking about a born again children of Israel. Where is he going to separate them from this time? From the nations.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're going to be separated from the nations, still under the name of children of Israel, but they're going to be born again, because they're not going to be like the previous children of Israel that was done away with to the point of the crucifixion, because they became so sinful.
Yeah.
They were then known, that version of the children of Israel was known in Revelation as the harlot that sits. And then anyone who drinks from the harlot becomes polluted, because they polluted and twisted the words of the prophets, the commandments, the laws, all that stuff. So when that reaping comes, what's separated? The wheat from the tares. And then the wheat are gathered up and brought to the promised land. The tares are just destroyed, because you can't have them in the kingdom. They're going to pollute the wheat.
Yeah.
So does that better answer?
Yeah, and then I know we're going to get a little more into that as we go.
Yes. So our next one is going to Exodus.
Um,
16, chapter 16, verse 19.
Okay.
19 to 30.
All right, Exodus 16, verse 19 through 30.
Now, before you start, I want to update the folks here. This point of Exodus, for those of you that may not be familiar, this is a point where it's talking about where the children of Israel have been begging for food, and they're in the desert. They're already taken out of Egypt, and this is where they get the manna. And now we're going to go into how that is significant with the Sabbath. Go ahead.
This is the thing which the Father Israel hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and Omar for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man from them which are in his tents.
Now hold on. Number of persons. That means you take no more, no less than what is in your household.
Yes.
So that means you can't store up stuff. Oh. Because if you store too much, you become, what's that sin? Greedy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And they did meet it with an omer, and he gathered much, had nothing over. And he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had nothing lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, Let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, That is that which the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to keep until the morning. And they they laid it up to the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today you shall eat it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, there shall be none. And it came to pass that they went out, some of the people, on the seventh day, to gather, and they found none. And the Father said unto Moses, How long refuse you to keep my commandments and my laws? See that the Father hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he giveth you on the sixth day the bread for 2 days. Abide ye every man in this place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day.
Now, you just said something. How long will ye go against betray me through defying my laws and commandments? So, what does it say is one of the laws that's also a commandment? Keep the Sabbath day holy. Isn't that a law that was on the 10 tablets? That's one of the laws. Keep the day holy. Do not pollute the Sabbath. So 3 times is the Sabbath mentioned on the 10 laws. It is part of 3 times is part of the 10 laws. So we see that what did the people do? They killed the Father's words.
Mm-hmm.
They stole his words. And they committed a spiritual adultery by rejecting him and loving their own desires because they didn't listen to the commandments. And what were the commandments? They were not the laws. They were the words spoken by Moses. So isn't that interesting, folks, that we see again, as it says in the New Testament, if you didn't know Moses, you wouldn't know Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You would have no clue what he was saying and what he was trying to do if you don't first understand Moses and what he's been teaching people and trying to do. So how does this correlate with the Sabbath? Because again, for 6 days you were to focus on doing the works that you had to do. And then on the 7th day, you were to rest from doing sinful works, right? Hold on, folks. Sorry there, folks. So again, for 6 days, you were to do these works with all this food and get it ready, have enough for the people to eat. But on the 7th day, you were to not do any works that had to mentally take away from you meditating, which means to rest. So remember I said meditating and focus is the same word. Well, you could also now put the word rest as the same word as to meditate. So when it says you're to rest, it doesn't mean you're a couch potato. It means you're resting on what? All this history throughout the Bible. You're resting on all the words of the prophets. You are resting on how do you defend your mind against sinful works. Now, the Sabbath, then, we start to have a better understanding, is actually preparing you, not just one day, but every day, to fight against sinful works. So, you're to rejuvenate on a 7th day, rejuvenate, cut off anything that had to do with your own desires of what you want to do, what you enjoy, sacrifice that to focus on the words in the history of the Father. Because remember, this is all His history, the Father's. This is all His works. Nothing is done by chance. Everything is by design. Now, we're going to go, did I miss anything in what you just read? Did I sum it up right?
Yeah, we're done with that one.
So now we're going to go into Matthew. Now from Exodus to Matthew, now we're going to go into a deeper understanding of the Sabbath. Matthew 12, 1 through 13.
Matthew 12, 1 through 13. At that time, Jesus, who is Emmanuel, went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungered and began to pluck the ears of the corn and to eat. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. But he said unto them, Have ye not read that David did, or what David did, when he was hungered, and they that were with him? He entered into the house of God, and
the temple. He went and entered the temple of Solomon.
Temple of Solomon, and he did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them that were with him, but only for the priests. Or have you not read in the law?
Hold on, because that sentence sounds confusing, right? So he's saying, is the shewbread, that again, folks, this is Matthew chapter 12, verse 1 through 13. We're talking about the shewbread that was really meant for the priest to eat, right? But again, going back to Jubilees, did he sanctify only a priesthood, or did he sanctify all children of Israel who followed him?
All children of Israel.
So that includes David and those that were with him, that the Father would feed them.
Yeah.
So it's not just only for the priests, but it's really for all of them, because one person among the children of Israel is not greater than another.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Or have ye not read in the law how that on Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple.
Oh, so in this place is one greater than the temple. So let's change the word place to land. In this land is one greater than the temple. Wait a minute, didn't he say this? I will destroy this temple in 3 days and rebuild it.
Mm-hmm.
One that is greater. So if one that was greater than the temple, which is built by our hands, then how much greater was the word that was spoken out of the fleshly mouth? Not out of a book, but out of the fleshly mouth, that the Father put His Holy Spirit, which is a righteous spirit, into that vessel to speak truth. So this is very important. So if the righteous spirit is in everyone, right, who believes, then they should be able to correctly speak the truth. Now remember, it is not the unrighteous spirit, or what would you call that? Evil spirit. Is that in us all too? Of course. Who controls light and dark? Only one.
Mm-hmm.
The Father. We're doing a video about exposing this lie of a entity that's trying to be out there as a boogeyman. Because we're going to find out that only the Father can hurt you and heal you. Put you in captivity and take you out. Only one Father can do all these things. So, where was I at with this? I guess continue.
Okay. But if ye had known what this meaneth, that one is greater than the temple, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would not have condemned the guiltless. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day.
So that means He wouldn't have scattered the children of Israel.
Yeah.
So read that last one again.
The one right before this, or but if ye had known what this mean,
yes,
this is hard to say for me. What this meaneth.
What this means.
Yeah, what this means. I will have mercy and not sacrifice you.
Oh, I would have had mercy and not sacrifice. How did he sacrifice the children of Israel? He scattered them onto the Gentiles and said, for a time, I am not going to sanctify you until a time that I will come back to re-sanctify you, thus being born again. Wow.
For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day.
Wait a minute. Wait, it's not Son of Man, Son of
Israel.
Son of Israel is Lord on the Sabbath day. What does that mean, folks? If the Son of Israel is Lord on the Sabbath day, doesn't Lord mean like ruler?
Yes.
So that means that you have to understand what the Sabbath is. It's not that you are to put a tradition of the Sabbath upon you and say that this is greater, like a birthday, for example, or something else that you would say is like Mother's Day or birthday. Oh, I have to do this stuff in this way on this day. That's a tradition. So what people ended up doing is they polluted the Sabbath by turning it into a tradition. If a son of Israel, a child of Israel, is Lord over the Sabbath, again, that begs the question, what does the Sabbath mean? The Sabbath means to focus and to cut off any distractions of sinful works. Now, what the sinful works means? That means doing any work that's for your own pleasure against the laws, commandments, and judgments. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Lord over the Sabbath, then that means the Sabbath is there to what? Oh, the Sabbath is there to train and teach you how to be a better
Child of Israel.
bingo. Because were they a better child of Israel in Egypt?
Yeah.
They were in Egypt. They were a better
No.
child of Israel. No. In Egypt, they were not at all a righteous child of Israel. They were not holy. This did not happen to them of being holy until Moses came onto the picture and brought them out. And even then, they were stiff-necked to Moses in the wilderness. But the point is, they were holier in the wilderness than what they were in Egypt, because at least they were learning. At least they were starting to go in the right direction instead of focusing every day and getting used to the sinful works of the lifestyle of Egypt. And guess what, people? Aren't we used to sinful works that in our time right now? Of course we are. That's because we are not honoring the Sabbath.
Okay. Verse 9. And when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? That they might accuse him. And he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and it shall fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, and he not lay hold of it and lift it out? How much then is this man better than a sheep? Wherefore is it lawful to do well on the Sabbath days? And 13 here. And then saith the man, Stretch forth thy hand. And he stretched it forth, and he was restored whole like as the other.
So every verse you just read that had the word man, folks, in your head, change the word man in this chapter 12, 1 through 13 to children of Israel, because that's who he's addressing, right? The children of Israel. So he's saying very particular, because the children of Israel is the holy people, right? Because of the knowledge, because of the words that you take in, that you eat, that you meditate daily, right? Doesn't it say in Psalms or Proverbs, folks, that he who meditates day and night is like a righteous person, like the eye of an apple, stuff like that?
Yeah.
So you have
Apple of my eye.
apple of the eye. So that means you have to meditate day and night. That's part of the Sabbath work right there, folks. So he's addressing the children of Israel that what is lawful? What is really lawful? Is it lawful to be a keeper of your brothers and sisters? No, you are supposed to be a keeper. Wasn't it lawful that Cain was not a keeper of Abel? Yeah, he was the older brother. He came out first, and he killed his younger brother because he was showing he wasn't he didn't care to watch over his works and to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the children of Israel doing in the time of Matthew? They're not, the priests are not guiding the people when they're going to their synagogues or going to the Temple of Solomon. They're not guiding them. They are polluting and killing them. And this is what Emmanuel was trying to explain to them. You're to heal not just the children of Israel among you, but you're to heal also those that come onto you, which are the strangers, updated language, the Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
You are to heal them because were you not part of the children of Adam? Of course you are from the beginning. And then, were you not a stranger in the land of Egypt? Were you not a Gentile to the Father, an enemy to him in Egypt? Of course you were. Did he not heal you? How much more are you to heal your enemies? So Mark 3:2-4.
All right. Mark 3:2. And they watched him whether he would heal him on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him. And he saith unto the children of Israel, which had the withered hand, or
the withered hand,
stand forth. And he saith unto the children of Israel, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days, or to do evil, to save life, or to kill? But they held their peace.
Wait, to save life. How do you save life? Man should not live by bread alone. Remember, bread helps you, right?
Yeah.
You need to eat. Or man should live by bread alone, but by every word. So if every word that was spoken from the mouth of prophets, if you know me, you would know of Moses, for he spoke of me, right?
Yeah.
So, what is lawful? Not talking about Bible? Not talking about history in your job? And your family when you're having dinner? Is that lawful? Is that good? No. How are you saving someone? You're not. You are helping killing them. This is very harsh and not for the faint of heart teaching and understanding. It never was. It is like a mirror being in front of you that you have to face yourself and all your flaws, recognize it, and start to sacrifice your sinful works in order to become a righteous person and to uphold a Sabbath. So that was it on Mark, right?
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to Mark 2:27-28.
And he saith unto them, children of Israel, the Sabbath was made for men, and not man for the Sabbath.
Not a child of Israel for the Sabbath.
Therefore the Son of Israel is Lord also of the Sabbath.
So if the Sabbath, read it again. I always get it confused in my head. Read it slowly again.
27?
Yeah.
And he said unto them, which is the children of Israel, right?
Correct.
The Sabbath was made for man.
Not for man. The Sabbath was made for the children of Israel.
Okay, and not children of Israel for the Sabbath?
Correct. So it was not the children of Israel for the Sabbath, meaning you're putting the Sabbath as Lord over you. So you're turning it into a tradition then. It's the children of Israel, it says the children of Israel for the Sabbath, right? That's the right way. Correct? Am I saying it right? Read the first sentence again.
And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not
Yeah, there you
man.
go. The Sabbath was made for the children of Israel. So if the Sabbath is made for the children of Israel, what does that mean? The Sabbath is a pathway. It is a building blocks to what? Sacrificing sinful works. So the Sabbath is made for the children of Israel, right? Not for the children of Israel for the Sabbath, right? Because to say it's the children of Israel for the Sabbath, that means you're doing things for like a holiday, like you were doing things for Christmas. You're going through all the presents, the trees, the decoration, all these things for that event of a holiday. That's what it's saying. It's not the children of Israel for the Sabbath, putting the Sabbath above you and making it seem like you have to do this tradition or the Father's going to kill you kind of thing. No, it's the Sabbath for you to rest from sinful works, to build yourself up, iron sharpens iron, the mind gets sharper through more meditation of the Word, and then applying it through works. Faith without works is
dead.
So faith without the works of the laws, commandments, and judgments, which is what the Sabbath is about, laws, commandments, right?
Okay.
And judging anyone who doesn't abide by strict ways.
Yeah.
Didn't this happen during the Passover too?
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't abide by it, you were killed.
Yeah.
If you didn't do anything right, you were stoned to death, right? You just read that a while back. So the Sabbath is there for you to rest from sinful works and for you to be a stronger what? Child of Israel, a stronger child of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done with that one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Matthew. Matthew 25, 1 through 13.
And then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
Now hold on. It's very important we have to break this down because people are not going to hear this. This could mean people are going to hear how we're going to teach it for the first time. So 10 virgins are again 10 children of Israel, because to be a virgin means to be holy. Okay? Not polluted by sinful works, which is what a Gentile would be. So you are a virgin, which means to be holy, which means to be a child of Israel. So this is a metaphor, folks. So 10 children of Israel. Go ahead.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 of them were foolish.
Oh, so wait a minute. Wise and foolish. How can you be foolish, folks? Because you're not retaining knowledge of the words. Man shall live by bread alone, but by every word. That means you must know the words of the prophets. You must know what Moses taught, all these things. If you knew these things, remember, if you knew Moses, who was a prophet as well, then you would know me, because I come as a prophet, right? So that is what it means to be wise. It's knowing the history, knowing the name Israel because of what it represents for the Father in his eyes, and what you are to him. So that's what it means to be wise. To forget this is foolishness. Go ahead.
They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
Now hold on. So lamps and oil. Now I'm going to tell you folks, as we continue this, keep in your mind, oil is knowledge, or better yet known as the word. The lamps would be the works in which you apply that knowledge. Go ahead.
While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept.
Now hold on, the bridegroom, right? Not the bride, right?
No.
The bridegroom. So we're talking about the Father.
Yes.
Because the bride are the children of Israel.
Yes.
They slept. Didn't they sleep in around the time of Emmanuel when he went, and 3 times I think it was, he kneeled down and was speaking in a sense to himself, speaking to the Father?
Yeah.
And he came back and the disciples were all sleeping?
Yes.
Oh, they tarried. They slumbered, it says, right?
Yeah.
So how many people, if you're not doing the Sabbath, you are slumbering? Weren't they slumbering in Egypt too?
Yeah.
Of course they were.
And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
Now oil would be knowledge. So these foolish children of Israel are saying to the righteous children of Israel, or holy children of Israel, give us some of your knowledge, lest we, because we don't have any knowledge. So what happens if you, remember, these are foolish. These are deceiving children of Israel like the Pharisees. What happens if you start teaching deceiving people in their hearts? What are they going to do? They're going to try to
compromise your knowledge.
Correct. They're going to make
away.
you correct. They're going to make you second guess yourself, and that is how they would take away oil. Because what does it say? Very important. The next few words after that. At least we have. Well, what's the next sentence after that? Where you were? They trim their oil.
Yeah.
Or their lamps. Go ahead.
Not so, unless we have not enough for us.
Wow. Unless we have not enough for us. So, if your knowledge of the truth in any way gets shaken, remember, be like a tree that does not shake in the wind. Be strong rooted, right? Be a strong foundation. So why would they give teachings to a foolish when the foolish is not going to regard it? First off, because they were, what are you supposed to do on the Sabbath day? Be prepared.
Yes.
So they were foolish because they were unprepared by not having enough knowledge. This is why we're doing this video, folks. Go ahead.
But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves.
Wait a minute, to them that sell. What do the priests and the churches do? Don't they sell the knowledge for tithings?
Yes.
Oh. So the false, in the Bible it says false Christ, which actually are false priests of Israel, are selling knowledge for a profit. And they say, go and buy some oil, go to these false teachers, get some understanding that fits you to go down the wide road, because it's easy for you. Go ahead.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they were ready, and they that were ready, the wise that were
prepared,
went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
Whoa! Went in with them to the marriage, the sacrament of marriage. Wait a minute, isn't that have to do with the name Israel, brother?
Yes.
Wow. So now you have to know the name Israel, because you have to know what it means to be a child of Israel. What it means to be a child of Israel involves meaning the Sabbath, because we have our prayer, who shall keep the Sabbath? All the nations, or among the children of Adam, that these shall keep the Sabbath, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my children, the children of Israel. Remember, in order to become resurrected children of Israel, meaning resurrected in knowledge, because you were dead, not having knowledge, so you're resurrected in knowledge, which is another word for resurrection, folks, is born again, seeing the world with new eyes. So they were prepared. What did it say? Not the Sabbath for the children of Israel, but the children of Israel for the
Sabbath.
Isn't that right?
I'm not going back, but yeah.
Wait, the children of Israel for this. Children of Israel is not for the Sabbath. It's the Sabbath that's for the children of Israel. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's the Sabbath for the children of Israel, because understanding the building blocks of the Sabbath, folks, is that you were doing sinful works. On the seventh day, you're willing to give up what? All the sinful works of your daily life to do, excuse me, talking too much. To do the Sabbath, which is, another word for the Sabbath would be the Lord's day, right? The coming of the Lord, right? So the bridegroom, you just read that.
Yeah.
So the bridegroom is also known as the Sabbath day. So when he came, they were prepared to meet him and follow him, while the other ones were seeking false what? Knowledge, because were they wise or foolish?
I'm trying to keep my spot, sorry.
They were foolish because they had no oil, no knowledge.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And while they went out to buy, the bridegroom came, and they were ready, went in, and to him in marriage, the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
Wow.
Goes to the,
He knows them not because they're not part of the spiritual marriage with the Father. So if you don't know the name Israel, how is he going to know you?
yeah, Lord, Lord, haven't we done many wonderful works in your name? And he says, Depart from me, I never knew ye.
Correct.
Because they didn't know they weren't sanctified. They didn't know the name.
And they didn't know
his
to be prepared.
commandments. They didn't know his words. They knew partial words and the other probably tickling things to their ears.
If you can't do the Sabbath for one day out of the week, how in the world are you going to be able to do the Sabbath every day, which means to give up every day your sinful works as the children of Israel had to do when they came out of Egypt? Where were we? We're in Matthew chapter 25, right?
25, verse 13. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Or no, that's 12. 13. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. For the kingdom of heaven is...
Now, you said that wrong. I'm sorry, I have to correct you here. It would be not the Son of Man, folks, the Son of Israel. You won't know when the Son of Israel, meaning a comforter, the comforter prophesies in John. This is who we're talking about in this chapter in the Matthew 25 is the comforter who is the bridegroom. You won't know when he comes unless you were prepared. So read it again, if you don't mind correctly, by saying Son of Israel and then the comforter where it says like bridegroom and go ahead.
Watch therefore, for ye neither know the day nor the hour when the Son of Israel cometh.
Mm-hmm.
For the kingdom of Israel is as a man traveling from a far country who called unto his servants and delivered unto them goods. I am going too far, I think.
Yes, you're to stop at 13.
Yeah, okay.
So, understanding that the Son of Israel would be the comforter because he has to gather. How is the Father going to gather the wheat if he's not speaking of a fleshly vessel here? To bring back to remembrance, understanding the Sabbath, which understanding the Sabbath is applied to understanding the laws, the commandments, the judgments. Again, faith without the works of the laws, commandments, and judgments is dead, right? Right? Works, the laws, commandments, and judgments without faith, which means trusting in them, also is death.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where are we going next? 24, Matthew?
Yeah. Verse 11, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. 24, for there shall rise false Christs and false prophets, and they shall show great signs and wonders, inasmuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Now, hold on. So, we just got done talking about who were the foolish children of Israel here that had no oil. They were out to deceive the ones that had the oil.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the wise one said, go buy your oil from who? The false teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
And then 25 is short, it just says, Behold, I have told you before.
What did he tell you before? Oh, Moses.
Yeah.
Oh, the prophets. Oh, Emmanuel. He comes as a prophet too.
Mm-hmm.
So these were all children of Israel. So what people are doing, they're saying Emmanuel is the only son of the Father. How blasphemy is that when it says in verse, not just in verse chapter 2 and 20, but also, I'll pull it up before we end here, folks, for you for Exodus. But it also says in Exodus, Israel is my firstborn.
Yeah.
So how is Emmanuel the son of the Father when it's very clear Abraham's grandson is known as the son of the Father through the name Israel? Okay? So you've already been deceived by false teachers if you don't know the importance of that name Israel. You're already being deceived. I'm telling you right now. You could yell at me, say all this stuff in the comments, whatever you want to do, But I'm telling you right now, if you don't understand Abraham's grandson's name and why the father gave this name to him, and then declared it right here, declaring it holy, sanctifying it thus through Moses unto the nations, then you won't understand this stuff because it's all tied under this name.
Mm-hmm.
So where are we now? 24?
Matthew 24, 40 through 45. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, and one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not the hour of your Lord doth come.
The Comforter.
The Comforter doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in which the thief would come, he would have watched, and would have not have suffered his house to be broken up.
Now hold on. Who's the thief here? The thief is the false teachers, the false pastors and prophets in the churches.
Mm-hmm.
This person that you're reading, a man, is actually a child of Israel, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to assume he has some knowledge. So if he has some knowledge, you will now let a robber. What did Emmanuel say? You have made my father's house a den of thieves. Be prepared to know this, lest I come as a thief, because you did not recognize the name Israel, nor understand the Sabbath, nor the words of the prophets. So, I'm sorry, folks, but it's true. There's your anti. Your anti is not one, but many. Remember, he says many false priests of Israel. So, wolves in sheep's clothing. Who are the sheep? They're the children of Israel. Who are the wolves? They're the Gentiles. They're the foolish. So, if these people are coming, robbing the word, and then trying to teach a polluted version of it, you've just been robbed of your sanctification.
You don't have your invitation to the marriage.
Correct. So, it's very important that your anti, folks, is already among you, but is not a singular person. It is a multitude of false teachers. That is where your anti people are. Stop teaching that there's one individual anti that everyone's going to bow to, because what you're doing is you're calling the king of Israel the anti, whom all nations and every tongue shall bow down on one knee and say that he who comes as a comforter is in fact the king of Israel. It's very clear when you read the scriptures correctly. And that means you have to jump around. You can't just read one chapter like a book. That's not how the Father works, because he is throughout time. So where were we now?
You would have watched, and he would have not suffered his house to be broken up.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore be ye also ready, for in such hour you think not the Son of Israel cometh. Who
The
then,
Comforter.
The Comforter. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give him meat in due season.
Now what's that mean? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every what? Word.
Proceeding from the mouth of God.
Mouth of the prophets, yes.
Okay.
Because we have to explain this correctly for people. So, that means the Father is in the prophets. The prophets are in the Father, which people call God. Otherwise, how could Emmanuel say, let them be one in me, as I am one in them? And then he says, if you knew of Moses, you would know of me. Therefore, would Moses be one in the Father, and the Father one in him? And how much more than Abraham, too?
Yes.
Wow.
And in the Comforter to come.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean the oil part, the virgins that didn't have it, he's like, I don't know you. Again, it also works vice versa. They didn't know him, so they called him a thing like an anti, which is saying, you are not my. This is what the Pharisees did too. I mean,
They called Emmanuel anti.
Yeah. It said you cast out the spirit by the spirit of the devil or Beelzebub.
So what they're saying back, what my brother was saying, one is not taken, but one leaves the field, one stays behind. Why? Because remember, we just saw the separation between the 10 children of Israel. 5 of them were staying put and didn't really listen and believe. Just like the time of Noah, they didn't listen and believe, they stayed put, they didn't want to go on the ark, and they mocked him. And then the 5, who represented, you could say, like Noah, did listen and did start preparing for something that was to come. So, what preparing on the Sabbath? You're to prepare for the Sabbath, which are the events in which the Father does great things. So, we have an understanding that we have think not come to bring peace, but a sword to do divide families.
Yeah.
So this is not a rapture verse, folks. Stop teaching it is that you're dead. One is going into the clouds, the other one's staying on the ground. No, that's a lie. You're being strongly deceived here. What it is one is leaving their partners or their families or their jobs or land, whatnot. They're leaving their sinful works behind, believing in a new teaching that seems new, but it's not new, it's just been forgotten. They are believing in a new teaching, and the one that stays behind to continue in their work has faith in a false teaching known as a rapture, because you're not being prepared for an actual work that you have to do that ends up being the rest of your life. So this is
the wide road.
Correct. So the one that's staying behind is on the wide road. The one that leaves in that parable that my brother just read is going on the narrow road. That's what's happening. It's not about the people going up into the sky and just vanishing.
Giving up their friends and their family that are telling them that they're crazy.
Isn't that a sacrifice?
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing sacrifices.
Yep.
So
they're setting themselves apart.
Correct. The wheat and the tares.
Yeah.
So where's your next one? The 20, we just went to 24, right?
Yeah, Matthew 19
19:29.
And everyone that hath forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands
and job
or job for my name's sake shall receive an 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life.
For my name's sake. Namesake. It's not Yahweh, folks. Namesake will be Israel. Because we know that the Sabbath is not tied to the name Yahweh. It's tied to the name Israel. This is very clear. As we will get into in Deuteronomy here a little bit. So we see that there is actually a work being done in Matthew 19:29 here, folks. Where people are giving up something to follow a correct, righteous teacher who's leading them just as Moses did, who's leading them out of the nations by his voice.
His voice.
My sheep, my children know me by my voice, which means by my words. Know me for my words. If you not know me for my word's sake, at least know me for my works. Does he say that? Yes. So, again, clarify, if you knew Moses, you would know me. So again, I can't stress this enough, folks. Any church that tells you you don't need to study and learn the past and the words of the prophets, and all you have to do is just believe that a son of Israel, known as Emmanuel, died for you on the cross, they are foolish. Because live by every word, not just one person who spoke in one event in the time. Again, I just specified how Emmanuel is saying that the Spirit of the Father was also in Moses. Then how much more in the prophets? Read how the dialogue is between the Father and the prophets. Ezekiel, Isaiah, so on and so forth. It's very clear that.
And he also says, I must go so another can come.
Correct.
Another shall come.
From the 7th comes the 8th.
Shall I read Deuteronomy now?
Sure.
Okay. Deuteronomy 5:14. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, and in it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor any son, nor any daughter, nor any manservant, nor any maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is in within thy gates, that thy manservant and maidservant may rest as well as thou.
So, and stranger, right? You just said stranger.
Yeah.
Stranger means someone that's not part of the house of Israel. That means that they have no knowledge, or they have very little knowledge. Therefore, he's saying, are you not to be your brother's keeper? Who are the brothers of the children of Israel? Are they not the Gentiles?
Yes.
Okay. So the job of the children of Israel is to go on to the rest of the children of Adam, go on to highway, hedges, bring the good and the bad onto the marriage. That means those that know the truth and those that don't know the truth. Again, the whole thing with the wine. Pour out the old wine to accept the new wine. So,
Yeah.
there are groups out there right now that are trying to say, oh, the children of Israel are these people because of their skin color or what have you. This is not how the Father works. Remember, he wants every one of the children of Adam to become what? Children of Israel. But he has to start out with a group of people to give these teachings to.
Mm-hmm.
Then he needs them to go on to the nations to be hid for a little bit so that sin goes to a fullness. Then he has to bring the children of Israel back to remembrance so that everyone who has had some introduction of this knowledge now can also be partakers in the house of Israel. Being a partaker, you can only be a partaker and grafted in if you have some knowledge. It's not about appearance. It's not about bloodline. It's about the
Greater works will you do.
Uh-huh.
You got to teach.
Correct.
You ain't going around giving blood tests to people.
It's about the knowledge.
Yeah.
It's about the oil.
Yes.
It's all about the wine. Again, the knowledge. So
Exodus.
yeah, so Deuteronomy, folks, 5:14 is basically recapping Jubilees 50. So anyone who wants to now dare say Jubilees is not Bible has now just basically hurt themselves. Because
Yeah.
Jubilee and Deuteronomy are saying the same thing. So how can you dare say Jubilees is not inspired work?
Mm-hmm.
It must be because it's in Deuteronomy, whom you have declared is inspired work. So be careful what you say is true and not true.
All right, Exodus 1. And afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. Verse 5. And Pharaoh said, Behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens.
Wow. So, who didn't want them to do a Sabbath to rest from sinful works? Oh, that was the Pharaoh. Moses wanted them to rest from their sinful works to do the Sabbath. Folks, this is your origin story of the Sabbath. This is where we get into the Genesis of chapter 1, that the Father rests on the Sabbath day, sanctifies the Sabbath, because he's resting from doing sinful works unto us. Can you dare say it was sinful? Do you think he enjoyed doing the flood? Do you think he really enjoys hurting us, whom we are made in his own image? No. He wants us to listen to him, not to rebel against him. He is not what's the word? He's not sadistic. every time he judges in a righteous manner. It's just the people, this world, can't comprehend how he judges, but they can be hypocrites and say they can understand how a parent judges. Because they're not identifying God as a parent. Big mistake. Now, one last thing I want to go into, if you can find for me real quick. We're in Exodus. This is the last one, folks. Exodus, where it says, go on to the Pharaoh and say, Israel is my firstborn. We do not have this up here in the notes. I apologize, folks, for this. This is
Exodus 4:22. I know this one.
Okay.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, King of Israel, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Wow. So, we just, folks, that was what? Exodus 4?
4:22.
4:22. Even though I don't have it up here, I'm going to repeat it. Exodus 4:22. What did the Father say? Who did he sanctify under the name? He sanctified under the name of Israel through Abraham's grandson, that because anyone who follows in the footsteps of who? Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, therefore also now adding Moses and the prophets, right? He says, I come as a prophet. Emmanuel said that. Okay. So we have to add the prophets to this. That Israel is his firstborn. Sorry, folks. Jesus is not the firstborn. Israel is. However, Jesus is under the name of Israel because he comes as a son of Israel. So it's very, very important, again, how Emmanuel understood the Sabbath. So, folks, I implore you, read the New Testament, understand how Emmanuel was, or what people call Jesus, was doing the Sabbath. What did he do on the Sabbath day? Why were the Pharisees so confused? What did they do wrong on the Sabbath? How did they misunderstand the Sabbath? And what was the whole point of the Sabbath? To do righteous works, to heal, to teach, to feed. These were all the things that makes the Sabbath what it is. So, is the Sabbath, or was the Sabbath one day out of the week? Yes. However, in the bigger revealing of things, the Sabbath actually is every day. But in order to get to the point that it's every day, which is in the near future, because that's when the Comforter comes, or as people refer to as the second coming, in order for you to do this Sabbath, if you can't prepare one day out of the week, how are you going to be able to prepare and sacrifice your sinful works every day? That was the point of it being one day out of the week, because if you can at least build up to that, then you're more prepared to doing it every day. That's it.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Again, these notes here, if you need to write any of this down, obviously I'll give you one last look. And we're going to continue next week and get more into the name of Israel, which is obviously paramount and very important. And it'll tie up some of the loose ends that we might have left in this video. Thank you. Have a good night. Take care.